Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. From 1996, Patek Philippe launched a bumper crop of steel sporty watches. There was the sculpture for the Russian market, the Aquanaut for the global market, and in my hand, the Neptune, perhaps the most misunderstood of the three. And of the three, the one most recently discovered by Patek Philippe collectors. That's right, the 5080 reference is finally getting its due. And the example in my hand in this configuration represents something like the ultimate Neptune. So the Neptune is reference 5080/1A-001 as featured in my hand. 36 millimeters in diameter in steel. I measure it at 8.1 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, just the case, 42.9 millimeters, and from end link to end link, the total distance across the wrist is 46.5. So the model was only made from 1996 to 2002. It had a short production run, and in each of those years it was technically offered, the order rate was low. The timepiece today seems like an Art Deco masterpiece, but in its era, folks didn't quite know where it sat between the sculpture, the Aquanaut, and the long-running Nautilus. Remember, it wasn't until the late 2010s that full steel bracelet integrated sports watches from Patek Philippe became a market fetish. So this, back in the 90s, was a fairly odd duck. Today, it's beautifully proportioned, and you can see on my wrist of 16 centimeters circumference how nicely it wears. It doesn't wear too small, unlike a lot of 90s origin designs. This one, partly due to the integration of the bracelet, presents as a larger timepiece. It looks more like a 38. It is very flat, though, and it'll easily slide under a cuff. You can see that engine-turned bezel is almost completely flat, and that echoes of its strakes can be seen on the intermediate links of the bracelet. I would recommend this for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. It was built as a men's watch. Today, just about anyone can and should wear this watch. It's got a nice balance to it. We'll throw this one on Sammy the scale, not because it's super heavy, although it's got a nice weight to it, but probably because we'll never see another one, and I'd like to document this. Okay, there you go. So 93.35 grams. The watch really does seem ultra thin by the standards of modern day watches, often with their thick display case backs, enamel or ceramic dials. This is a lovely salmon dial, and as you can see, we have white gold hands, white gold date frame, white gold stylized Roman numerals. We have a little chemin de fer, or railroad track, for reading our hours, minutes, and seconds, and then we'll move off axis a little bit so you can see the sunburst metallic texture of this dial. And although it does not have a tritium signature on it, watch this. So we turn off the light, and we're going to give this just a moment, and I can tell you it looks even brighter on the camera than it does to my eye. So yeah, original factory Patek Philippe tritium salmon dial steel full bracelet Neptune. This is the most collectible Neptune. Speaking of its bracelet, let's take a look. As you can see, it's integrated, though it can be removed by more or less conventional means, as there's a strap tool hole in profile, and then we have a number of links that are removable. They have small screws that allow you to fine-tune the fit, and we'll roll around to the other side. You can see these are actually a unique type of fastener that has a screw head on either side, so just keep that in mind. You'll need opposing purchase on each side to size this at home. Taking a look, you can see the clasp internal is fairly familiar, but what's fascinating is that it's also, in this instance, model specific. It mentions that this is a clasp for the Neptune. And then we have a little clamshell featuring a combination of almost martelage, or a hammered effect with the Calatrava cross, and it is a clamshell lock once the two sides close. Take a look at the underside of the bracelet. You can see this is definitely great to have in a hot place where you're going to sweat a little bit, and you can wipe this down with a moist cloth and clean it off. It also vents the wrist well and has plenty of gaps between the large links to avoid pinching skin or pulling hair. You can see the way the bracelet slots in between the lug horns. It's a little bit different than a pure integrated bracelet, although it has the aesthetic of one. We have a screw-down case back, and actually we have a screw-down crown. So while this might be a 30-meter water resistance, with proper testing, this is probably a surface swimmable watch. I wouldn't risk it just because of the vintage and the collectability of it, but the combination of a screw-down crown and a screwed-in case back probably indicates that the original intent from the designers in Geneva was for this to be a true swimmable sports watch. Taking a look at the crown side, we have the Calatrava crossgun. We have these lovely little tapered mini crown guard structures. The mid-case is kind of fascinating in that it's somewhat sheer. It doesn't have any pronounced beveling. It's just brushed from end to end, and you can see how the lugs integrate almost like they would on a pure round case watch. The lug hoods are polished. The bezel is a little bit like the Rolex engine turned bezel, and in fact that's how this gets to be the way it is. We have a little chimney or polished ring separating the bezel from the dial itself, and while the watch does not have hacking seconds, it does have a quick set date, and it has this lovely, very serify font for the numerals on the date wheel. And you could also see that that font matches that font. So these threes are the same. That's a mistake a lot of brands make. Though you can't see it under the case back, we have a Patek Philippe center rotor automatic caliber 315. So automatic winding, 3 hertz beat rate, 30 joules. It is a 45-hour power reserve with a quick set date, though not hacking seconds, but I will show you a little trick. It is a 5-position adjustment with a free-sprung Gyromax style balance and the Geneva hallmark. So of course these center rotor Patek Philippe automatics without hacking, if you apply a little bit of back pressure, you can more or less stop the seconds hand anywhere you want. So if you want to set it to a reference time, just that little bit of back pressure will stall out the seconds hand, and then I can set the watch. And I've also got a quick set mechanism. I promised you a very serify font, and there it is. So again, 315, the primary difference between this and the later 324 is the beat rate. 324 is 4 hertz, this is 3 hertz. Dimensionally and in most other technical parameters, they are the same movement. And of course, Geneva seal, so though you cannot see this movement, I have seen the movement in this watch. It is both beautiful and in great condition, finished to the standard you would expect of a 1990s Patek Philippe Premier League sports watch. The hardest version of the Neptune to find and the most collectible. Steel, full bracelet, salmon dial, and tritium. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.